Hi, and welcome back. Do you know what you're eating?
I think I do. It's focaccia, isn't it?
Very close. It's a bread made by a family-run restaurant in Tempe, Arizona that's really an old world recipe. Take a look. At Monti's La Casa Vieja, making bread is a family tradition. The restaurant opened in 1956 and quickly became known for its rosemary-seasoned Roman bread, a recipe that's been handed down in the Monti family for generations.
My mother convinced my dad that we had to serve this bread here. So we began serving it, but we had the problem of what are you going to call it? You know, focaccia might have been fighting words out here in the old days, so we started referring to it as Roman bread. My dad coined that term, and it's become very popular.
Brian, we're going to make Monti's famous Roman bread, right?
That's right, that's right.
So this is an old world recipe, but we're going to make it right today. How do we start?
We start with our flour. We're going to put in 4 cups. We'll add our yeast. This is our salad oil. It's about a quarter cup.
About a quarter cup?
Right. This is onions that we put into our mix, and I'd recommend using a dehydrated onion.
Yeah, because I was going to say these don't look just cut now. This
Right,
is raw
they were
cut.
dehydrated, and then I rehydrated the product. Basically, it helps maintain its shape and so forth when you bake the bread.
So anytime when I'm going to deal with baking, it's something.
Yeah, it's
good
better
idea.
than raw onion.
Better than raw onion. Okay.
Okay, and that's a half a cup right there.
What do we add next?
Next is sugar and salt. I'd like to measure that. For this batch of bread, we mix the salt and the sugar together. It's basically 1 tablespoon of sugar to 2 teaspoons of salt.
How much, in fact, will this whole batch make?
It yields about a 2-pound loaf, and
wow.
yeah, it makes a good-sized pan.
What's the next thing?
The next step is to add our water and start the mixer. It's 1.5 cups of water. It's important to use a little bit warmer than lukewarm, just over 100 degrees on our water. That way, it starts the yeast to activate and to actually work the bread.
Mix the dough with an electric mixer, or if you don't have a mixer, you can mix the dough by hand. With a mixer, it takes about 2 minutes to get the right consistency.
All right, now we want to loaf it up. So kind of work it out to where it's long. There you go. And fold it a little bit. There you go. Now it's looking good.
You think this is my first time rolling dough?
I try to make it the same width as it is in the middle as it is in the outside. That way when it rises, it's real consistent.
So Brian, our dough has risen for an hour. It looks great. And why'd you use this saran wrap?
Well, it just keeps it moist so the exterior doesn't dry out on us.
Okay.
It's gained probably 50% in mass, and we're ready to roll it out. Just put a little flour on the rolling pin and start to flatten that out. Doesn't really matter which direction you go. You just want to keep it as even as possible so there's no thin spots. Dough is kind of elastic, and it's real important to get it a little bit larger than you need it for the pan. You can always move it around once it's in the pan, and then mold it to the corners.
Next, you want to oil your cooking sheet and mold the dough evenly in the pan.
Once it's in the pan, again we want to top it.
Okay.
And we use oil again. Now this will help brown it when it's in the oven. It'll also keep it moist because we need to let it rise a little bit again before we bake it.
Now you got a little rosemary here, and what is this?
That's onion salt.
Now just all over?
Yeah, just sprinkle it all over. That teaspoon will run out pretty quick, and you'll need another one. Then we'll put on the rosemary.
Okay, how much rosemary?
That gets 2 tablespoons. We're real generous with the rosemary, and you could add more if you like, whatever you'd like on your bread.
The bread then needs to proof or rise at room temperature for an hour. If you'd like, you can pre-slice the bread. It then gets baked at 375 degrees. So Brian, this has been in the oven about 10 to 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Great. Now how did you know that it was done?
It's a thin flat bread, so really the color gives it away. As soon as it gets that golden color, that's it.
Oh yeah, it definitely gives it away. I'm gonna give it a little try here. Really crunchy layer. That oil makes it crunchy. Delicious.
Right. Yeah.
Rosemary strong, the onion's still strong in there.
The inside's really tender, and with the exterior, you see all that color. It's real crusty.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Great old recipe.
Thank you.
That looks so good, right? Hot out of the oven. Was it good?
That's when it's at its best. Roman bread. Okay.
Beautiful. Well.